because it hits me really hard on a Wednesday that he's going through what he's going through, and that this battle is real and it's intense, and it's the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. And so it's interesting because grief is bizarre. There's so much beauty in it, and there's pain, and there's this emotion, and stuff gets buried and stuff comes out. And I just say, lean in to myself. Lean in, April, lean in. And that's what I'm going to do today. Today's Wednesday. Chemo Wednesday has become one of my favorite days with my dad. It is bizarre. It's odd. It's crazy. The circumstances are not something that I'm grateful for, but I am grateful for this season with him. It's April. I want to talk today about leaning in. In my writing, one of the things I write about a lot is leaning in. And what that means is that whenever something hard is happening or something is uncomfortable, we tend to want to flee. We want to retreat, get away, recluse, move from whatever the threat is. But I have learned on my journey that if we actually lean in, if we go towards whatever it is that scares us the most, that's where we realize the anxiety is not as heavy as we thought it would be. Meaning, yes, there's anxiety that comes with that, and there is fear that comes with it. But whenever you think of something that you've done that was scary, you did something that was terrifying, we're doing skydiving, bungee jumping, zip lining. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but something that you thought, if you flew for the first time, rode a train for the first time, drove for the first time, all of the things that you think, man, this is so terrifying. When you step into that fear and you survive it, you have this resilience that gets built in you that you couldn't get any other way. I remember the first time I went ziplining, I worked for a company that did addiction treatment, and at one of their facilities, one of the pieces of therapy that they used was ziplining. So I had gone from my corporate position just to visit the campus, and we spent the day ziplining. I remember when we climbed up to the top to get ready to zip line, I wanted to go first because I don't like to wait. I just want to go first. And they told me all you have to do is just go to the ledge and just jump off, hold onto your line, and you'll get to the other side. When I got to the ledge and I looked off, I wanted to jump so badly, but I was paralyzed. Like, I could not go. And I remember it felt like I was standing there for so long, but I knew I wasn't going to go back down. I was going to jump. But I looked around behind me at the instructor and I said, "Hey, will you just push me?" And he goes, "Sure." So I stood on the edge and I leaned back and held onto the rope, and I said, "Okay, do it." And he pushed me off of the edge, and I was floating. I was hanging. The threat of falling was there, but I was just going with it. And I remember once I got to the other side, I was like, hell yeah, because I took the jump. I took the leap. Not necessarily, I had somebody push me, but nonetheless, I went. Even if I couldn't do it myself, I asked the guy to push me because I wanted to do it so badly, because I knew there was some sort of treasure on the other end, but I have to go through it in order to get there. So when I talk about leaning in, what I'm talking about is pushing yourself forward into what scares you most, stepping into the fear, leaning in. I mean, you can brace for impact, but I just say, take a deep breath and lean in to whatever it is and let that hit you. Let it hit you, because it's going to shock your nervous system. It's going to shock your psychology. It's going to hit all the things in your brain and your body. But then you're going to start to realize, I'm okay. In the middle of this, I'm okay. So this morning, I am headed to be with my dad for chemotherapy. My dad was diagnosed with cancer a couple months ago, and it's intense. It's stage 4 colorectal cancer. It has metastasized. It's intense. But every other Wednesday, I get to go with him to chemo, and I sit with him for a 5-hour infusion. things have felt normal lately because he has been okay. He's living a normal life, doing normal things, hopefully getting ready to go back to work. But every other Wednesday when I sit with him at chemo, it becomes so real of the battle that he's in. I was a little emotional this morning because it hits me really hard on a Wednesday that he's going through what he's going through and that this battle is real and it's intense. And it's the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. And so it's interesting because grief is bizarre. There's so much beauty in it, and there's pain, and there's this emotion, and stuff gets buried and stuff comes out. And I just say, lean in to myself. Lean in, April, lean in. And that's what I'm going to do today. Today's Wednesday. Chemo Wednesday has become one of my favorite days with my dad. It is bizarre, it's odd, it's crazy. The circumstances are not something that I'm grateful for, but I am grateful for this season with him. And I'm going to go hang with him for his infusion. And so far, these have been the best moments with my dad. And I lean in. So lean in, my friend. Whatever it is that you're enduring today, don't run away. Don't brace for impact. Don't tighten up. Don't stop breathing. Breathe and lean in, because what's going to happen is going to happen. But if we can lean into it and get our system and our brain and nervous system and all of our physiological pieces of us, psychological pieces of us to endure whatever that is that's coming at us and breathe through it, then just like when I jumped off of that side of that cliff basically for ziplining, I jumped off of that edge for ziplining, I did make it to the other side, and I was stronger once I got over there than I was before I got pushed off. So you may not be in a place where you're wanting to jump. This may not be something that you voluntarily signed up for. But if you've been pushed and you're in midair, you will make it to the other side. Breathe, don't brace for impact, lean in. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Enduring, leaning in, doing the things that make us most afraid. And I'll take you along for that. So let's go. "53 degrees. Ah. Alarm is on and we are ready to go. Let's get some heat on in here. Woo! Oh, seatbelt. Safety first. All right, let's do it. Cancer diagnosis came as a shock to our whole family. It was so abrupt. He was having some issues in his bowels, and he went to the doctor to try to see what was going on, and they found a mass. Yeah, it was intense. It went from like just some constipation, diarrhea, to we think you have cancer, to immediate surgery within a couple of weeks. Where they were just going to remove a piece of the colon, take the tumor out, and put the colon back. Once the surgeon got in there, he quickly realized that it was, they had already determined it was cancer, but that it had spread, and he suggested a colostomy bag because he said that the cancer can come right back. So my dad had no clue that that was getting ready to happen. He was in surgery when the surgeon called my mom to let her know what was going on. That the cancer had spread into some of the abdomen tissue, to the rectum. So then he wakes up from surgery thinking that, okay, it's all over, life is going to go on, and had to break the news to him that he actually had a colostomy bag now. He was pissed. "You mean I got a shit bag on my stomach?" There's so many details. My dad is he's hilarious, but he's hilarious. He's one of those people who's hilarious and doesn't even know how freaking funny he is. But anyway, yeah, so it all came as a shock to all of us. This has just been quite a journey. So it is October 16th now, and yeah, it's been insane. So before we knew it, he was in chemo, and crazy. I mean, stage 4. The surgeon says he can beat it. He's seen people beat it before. If you research, others say that it's a death sentence. The oncologist told him that with chemo he could probably have about 2 to 5 additional years. But I'm like, who are you to tell us how long somebody gets to live? So we're just telling my dad, keep your head in the game. And grief is interesting. You know, there's good, there's bad, there's ugly. I never thought that there would be beauty off in the middle of something like this, but I've actually found this to be more beautiful. I know it sounds so bad. I was going to say more beautiful than painful, but they're kind of equal. They're equal in and of themselves. It's together. It's wrapped up together. It's dark and light. When you look at the sunset or a sunrise, the reason why it's so beautiful in the contrast is light and dark together. And so that's what this journey has been. It's been light and dark, moving, fluid together. There really are no words sometimes to describe it. And when the words do hit, they just hit. And I write about that a lot. So yeah, good, bad, and ugly. It's all mixed in there together. And it's all okay. It's all part of it, I think. I mean, for my own personal journey, it's all just been part of it. Good, bad, and ugly mixed up, making beauty from ashes, I guess what they would say. It's fucking painful, don't get me wrong, it's painful, but there's so much beauty in it if you're watching for that. So Chemo Wednesday, let's go. You know, you don't just live once. You know, people say you only live once. You don't just live once, you live every day. You live a lot, but you die once. Somebody told me that the other day. You die once. And I think the thing that with my dad having cancer is not so much that I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna die. I don't know why a cancer diagnosis or any sort of diagnosis would put us in a position where we just all of a sudden think about people dying. We're gonna die. You're gonna die and I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. We've been hearing this on every motivational speech you could ever listen to. And so it's all about the life in between. How are we living that life in between? So this has really brought me face to face with that again. And you just look at death in a whole new way. It's actually doesn't even seem as scary as it once did, which is so bizarre. Yeah, just thought I'd share that thought. It's kind of interesting.
Sometimes we can go together, not just one of Yes, sir. Unless for some reason.
But you feel the coldness? Yeah, like a shock.
Yeah, I never have got it in my teeth.
Oh, in the mouth, they say
Yeah.
drink.
The only place I get it is right here. And that's the back of my throat. But, whenever you grab something that's cold, like that right there, it lights you.
I guess it's building over time.
That is really light.
Okay, hey, name and date of birth.
William Johnson, February 10th, 1986.
All right, Willie. Just kidding. She didn't. I don't even know if she picked it up. 784 of 5P push, which is 15.88, so almost 16. Yes, and he's got this level pump, and it is 4,704. We are 102, I think is our. Yep, 102 is our. We're locked. 102. I read 2.2. Like, thank you. You're welcome. Willie. Just kidding. That's probably disrespectful. Apologize. Do you go by Willie or William?
I use William or Will.
I just called you Willie.
Haven't got that baked potato with me.
Yeah.
We don't care at this point. Call him what you want.
You call you what you want. All right, this is the push. Push that drug in.
I want to push.
So this is 5FU. So this is what is in the pump. We'll just give you what this is called a bolus. So it's a dose prior to the pump. So it gets it all in your system in the line. I'll be over there in a second to start her.
You know, it's weird. Ever since he got that port, I feel everything it goes.
Do you really?
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you just feel the cool?
yeah.
Okay. Cool sensation. It's better, even though you did have good veins, but it saves your veins. Oh. Lost my mind today. It's right here. I was like, what? Isn't that annoying?
Old woman.
Yeah. Oh, she's old. Is she old? She might be 1966. I'm just kidding.
She like to throw it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll put it this way, if I was betting, I'd bet. I bet she's a few years older than I am.
Well, if you want. Alright, I'm glad you seem to be doing so much better. Yeah. No, and that's, yeah. I mean, like a cough is, you can't even believe how it's so rude.
I know.
I thought I was an older
One harsh cough, so.
He's mean and grumpy and ornery again.
And that
That's
helps,
normal.
and that helps.
Yeah, he's
Totally.
normal.
Yeah, he's back to normal.
Yay!
I like it. All right, guys, we'll see ya.
They are big.
Just had one upstairs, no damn pot roast and 2 carrots.
Yeah.
That make a hell of a meal.
Yep. There's the tater. And day drinking. Is that right? 7/8. Yeah, 3 inches. You said 3 inches is too big?
Yeah, 3 inches is too big.
Well, that's 2 sizes bigger, so that should probably be good.
If order's too small, we'll send it back instead of fucking it up.
Yeah.
needed a belt for
It's worked, hasn't it?
yeah.
It's just not gonna be long term. It's not a long-term solution. Calling for you.
I don't know what website, there's like 50,000. Here's the
Oh, it's bright. Third day of chemo. Well, third session of chemo in the books. Leaving my parents' house. Parents' house. World, there's my parents' house. I gotta go round up some children and get up out of here. But it was a successful chemo time. Successful chemo session. And Dad's tired now and I'm tired. But it was a good time today and I'll see you in a little bit. Chemo, number 3, done. It was interesting because there was a woman who was getting chemo was talking to me and she said that she had bladder cancer, older woman, bladder cancer, and that was removed, and then shortly after she had a spot in her lungs, and she was telling me she was gonna hold on and fight because that's what she wanted to do for her great grandbabies and her grandbabies and her children. It's bizarre. Today was not as emotional. My dad was in really good spirits. It makes for a way better time when you just get, I'm just appreciative to be able to be together. Just being together means a lot. Flying on these back roads. I don't like these Tennessee back roads. This lens is right in my face. Sometimes when we lean in, I think we are surprised by what can come out of that. Not only this resilience and strength come out of it, but I can't even tell you how many times me and my dad, my parents and I, we've just laughed our asses off at something that is so funny in the middle of what is hard for a family. So lean in so you can experience it all. I think that we try to cut out a lot of the negativity, but it's like I was saying earlier, it's all so intertwined that you can't have one without the other. And in these seasons like this, it's intertwined. I'm at a loss for words really, because it's all so jumbled up together. Does that make any sense at all? Just emotion and grief and all the what ifs are there together. They're wrapped up together. So the good, the bad, the ugly, leaning in, you know, the shock of the diagnosis, and then time goes on because luckily he was diagnosed right at the end of July. I mean, he wasn't really appropriately diagnosed until August, but we knew in July that most likely this was what the situation was. Sorry, I keep hitting my microphone on the ceiling. But I've heard so many stories of people saying they had like a couple of weeks. Well, I've heard so many stories of people saying that they had their loved one got a diagnosis and they just had a couple of weeks left after that. So we've had a couple of months and it's been nice. And I'm believing for more and more and more. And it ain't over till it's over. And so we just show up every day and we lean in and we just get through it one day at a time. My dad always says, you know, why worry about something you can't change? And obviously if it was that easy, people just wouldn't worry, you know. But we do worry because we wish we could change those things. It's not about changing it for me. It is what it is. I've gone through a lot in my life to where you finally get to the point of just lean in and let's just roll with this. I mean, if I could stop it, I would. But when you know you can't, I would rather be on the battlefield duking it out. This is what we're dealing with. I don't want to stand on the sidelines in denial. I want to go for it with all that I have. And I want to be fully present with my dad. I want to be fully present in the moments. This afternoon I was sitting at their house, at my parents' house, and my dad was not, I mean, he was tired and it wasn't that fun, upbeat energy that we have while he's getting chemo. It's the aftermath, and I normally am not around this late after the chemo treatment, so I get to see the fatigue kick in, and that takes on a different energy, but it's real and it's what's happening and it's part of it. So lean in, my friends. Don't lose these opportunities for your own life, to experience what's in front of you, to experience moments with those that you love. Don't waste those by being too afraid and so panic-stricken about a diagnosis. Get in the middle of the battle and just go in on it and be present and lean in. You will survive it. You will survive the hard things that come at you, the things that you're so afraid of, the things you don't want to look at. I don't want this to happen to my dad. I don't want this to be a situation going on in my life right now, but it is, and so I'm leaning in. And so I just want to encourage you to keep leaning in and keep fighting the good fight and keep doing the next right thing and then the next right thing, and just take it one day at a time. You have the answer. You know what you're looking for. You know what you can and can't take. But the fear of not being able to go through hard times, that's total crap, because you can. It's not comfortable. Nobody said it was ever going to be comfortable, nor should this be comfortable. This is terrible. I hate it so much. But lean in, and as much as overall I could say, oh, I hate this is awful, but man, the reason why Chemo Wednesday is one of my favorite days right now is because we laugh so hard and we talk. Like, I found out today that my dad was really close with his grandfather, his dad's dad, and I never knew that. Never knew that. So I'm learning more about my dad now in these past few months than I have ever in my life. And that's bittersweet and tender, and it's light and dark contrasting, and you can only get those moments if you're willing to lean in. So lean in. I'm gonna go get these kids. I'm exhausted. See ya. What happened at school today, Sway?
I was screaming and I was playing around and I was going around
And what happened?
and I was clipping down and I clipped up again and I clipped down again.
And what color did you land on?
Yellow.
And that means slow down. That means you didn't have the best day.
Mm-mm.
What are you gonna do differently tomorrow? Are you gonna do better?
Yeah.
Are you gonna think about it tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna scream?
Mm-mm.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you a lot.
I love you.
And you had a rough day, and you know what? I still love you, but you've got to do better than that. Okay?
Okay. Oh girl. Oh girl.
This way.
What?
What color are you gonna get tomorrow?
Blue.
You going to?
Yeah. Are you happy with me?
Of course I'm happy with you. I was disappointed that you got yellow. Look at me. I'm disappointed about that because you could do so much better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you need to do tonight too?
What?
You need to get some good sleep.
Okay.
Do you hear me? No more getting up and out of the bed.
Okay.
Alright, sit up, sit back. Daddy's getting you some Sonic.
And Dad's gonna give me Sonic.
Yeah, Daddy's getting you Sonic.
What?
Yeah, let's go get Sissy
Where's Sissy?
at school. Basketball practice.
Can I see behind?
No, let's go get Sissy. Say peace.
Peace. And you never fall, then you
Sway.
never
Sway.
hear, and then you never know, and never hear, and then you never want, and then you never need. I was doing that and listening and tuning and what I did, and it never fall, didn't have ears, and then it don't know, didn't have ears.
Get a hand.
I was getting in the shooting and shooting. I was all day till the never before.
Try to get in.
I was doing days. I was doing days. I was doing rock stars. I was doing friends. I was doing the restaurant. Doing the days. There's another
How was-
four. There's another
Like a
here.
sweaty little boy.
It was me.
No, it's Sissy.
Sissy, ew!
Like corn chips.
Because our ground on the gym smells like corn.
Time will tell.
I think I made varsity.
You made varsity. What?
No. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
You got the Sonic, Daddy?
Oh, is that all you worried about?
Yeah. I was hungry already.
Yeah, I'm worried about Sonic too.
Where's it?
Wait. Go to the house.
I can help carry it.
You help here. No, you go on